Hello, Jerry here with episode number 7 of Ask Jerry Tachoir. I'd first of all like to thank everybody who wrote and sent me emails and saying thank you for doing these videos. It's been a lot of fun, and as long as I continue getting the response that I'm getting and the great questions, we'll continue and see how it goes. Today's question comes from David in Quebec, or David à Quebec. Bonjour, Monsieur Tachoir. I have totally enjoyed your educational videos. They have been very, very helpful, especially since I have no one to study with. My question is this. When you first start to play a new tune from a lead sheet, what is the first thing you do to be able to play the tune? What is the order of operations in learning and playing a new tune? Thanks, David à Quebec. Okay, David, this takes me back to my Berkeley days, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes. The first thing I do when I get a piece of music that I've never played before, and it's assigned to me, and so the first thing I do is I look at, obviously, the key signature and the time signature. You got to know that. Right? That's pretty clear. And then I'll go through and look at the form of the piece. In other words, I'll look for repeats, I'll look for first and second endings, DCAL, codas, and all that kind of stuff. So I'll look for the actual roadmap of the piece, make sure I understand where it's going. Then I'll go through and I'll kind of examine it for anything that may give me problems. Fast notes, large intervallic leaps, big, huge chords, anything that stands out as, I got to take a look at this and see if I understand how to play this. Okay, and then finally, one of the most important things and the more complicated part of all this is then I have to analyze the entire piece of music. The first thing I do is analyze the melody. So I look at each one of the melody notes and find its relationship to the chord. Is it the third? Is it the fifth? Is it the root? Is it the flat 7? What relationship is the melody? So I'll go through the entire piece and I'll understand each one of those melody notes. And then after that, I go through, and the more complex part of this is dissecting the chord changes. I have to look at them and have enough theory knowledge to be able to understand, okay, this is a 2-5-1, this is a 6 chord, this is a passing diminished chord. So I go through and do all the analysis that like you do in theory class. You know, this is a 1 chord, this is a 3 chord, this is a 2-5, all the bracketed 2-5s. This is something they teach at Berkeley. You take a 2-5 progression and you just put a bracket underneath it, and then we put an arrow to the resolution of the dominant chord. So you might have a D minor 7, G7, that's a 2-5, you bracket it, and then the G7, you draw an arrow to its resolution, whether it's down a fifth, down a half step, or wherever it resolves. You kind of have to find that resolution. So after I do that and I have all the hieroglyphics assigned to each one of the chords, then you have to assign a chord scale or mode so you'll know what to be able to play over it. And this is where, again, in my method book, I give all this information. The method book is a contemporary mallet method. It's an approach to vibraphone and marimba, and it's available. And it goes through all the analysis, all the modes that you would assign to different chord situations. So anyway, once you do that, then you know what scales you can play over each one of the chords, or there could be a number of scales as well. And then as you start to play, your analysis of the melody note then tells you what are the other notes you have to use to fill in to make the chord and the voicing sound fuller, avoiding doublings. In other words, you don't want to play, if the melody note's the fifth, you don't want to also play the fifth somewhere else because you're wasting essentially a mallet. So by knowing the analysis of the melody makes that obviously clear to you. So then you go through and you play the tune and you just do this over and over again. Now it sounds like it's complex, and at first it is. It's a slow process. You have to just take your time, analyze the melody, analyze the chord changes, put a mode to it. Eventually, after several times of doing this, after several months, several years, whatever, it'll get to the point where you don't really have to take the pencil out and go ahead and do all that. It's just sort of, you look at the notes, You know what the relationship is with the melody. You also see the chord progression, and all of a sudden, you've done it so many times, you understand that this is a Dorian to Mixolydian to Ionian to Phrygian to da-da-da-da, symmetrical diminish. It just kind of happens, and it evolves, and again, there's no deep, dark secret to it. It's just taking your time and going through the analysis and making sure you know the intent of the composer and the intent of the tune and how the harmony evolves and moves. I hope that answered your question. I know it sounds like maybe convoluted, but it really isn't. Just take your time and think about it. For those of you who want to ask me a question, simply go to my website, www.tachoir.com. Click on the little Contacts tab in the corner and fill out your information, ask me a question, and who knows, maybe we'll do one of these videos. So I thank you again for watching these, and I hope this helps, and good luck and keep listening. Take care. Bye-bye.